have found this session to be very insightful, informative, and relevant. One of the things we take for granted is the ways in which we assume that when we design a policy or even put a policy in a school that it will be automatically followed. I think we take for granted the need to have teachers and students and even school administrators being a part of the whole design and decision making. I also think that the course is giving some serious insights into some of the challenges that we face with our own policies. For example, we may implement a policy or we may say, well, this is a policy for you to implement, but we haven't considered the resources. We haven't considered what that policy means at a school level. And so having that kind of insight, having that kind of awareness as policy designers, I think that that is critical and a good way to move forward as it comes to policy design and policy implementation. So by and large, I'm finding this course to be very useful, and I'm really looking forward to being able to go back home and implement a number of the things that we're learning. Leadership really is about giving direction and guidance to whatever institution or constituency you're responsible for. That's the broad topic. What I have learned is that for me in particular, my leadership style has some gaps. And so I have realized that when it comes to how I lead, I have to take into consideration what my position means to those persons who have to follow the direction that I give. I have found that I need to do more of a collaborative approach to leadership, as opposed to, you say this is what it is supposed to be, and maybe give some guidance. So what is the input of the other persons into the direction in which we go? That's something I really need to pay more attention to. I have learned that as a leader, I probably need to listen a little more. That is something I'm taking away, and I'm trying to be very honest about it, because if you're not honest, there's no room for improvement. So one of the takeaways for me is that leadership is not necessarily about you giving direction, but it is about you working with others to go in a particular direction. And I would really want to make that a part of how I do things moving from here. I think that the IIEP training is very real, is very relevant, and is very practical. So when I started the course, from the very onset, I felt as if I was learning. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes when you get into the depth of the course, you can say, oh yes, I could see where I could benefit. But from the very get-go, the first look I took at the course, I started reflecting on our own practices, especially in policy design and policy implementation. And I realized, well, we have a lot of work to do. Where is our vision? Where is our communication strategy? Where is our implementation plan? These are things that our policies did not have. And yet, we have been putting policies in our systems for so long. So from the very beginning, you started to analyze your own practices, your country's practices, and you can see how what they were offering was so practical, so real, and so clear.